Hello, and welcome to another week at the bungalow. As promised, plasterboarding has begun. Upstairs, bedroom 1, we're starting with. First sheet of plasterboard going up. Standard plasterboard, as you'd imagine, we're just using square edged because we're having the whole of the upstairs, well, the whole of the house skimmed rather than tape and jointing. There's a lot of oddities when it comes to the shape of upstairs, so it just makes life a lot easier if we get it skimmed, and then we don't have to worry about making sure we've got the sort of curved edges down or the tapered edge together so that it can be taped and jointed. If we had nice simple square rooms it might be a bit different, but it's a bit all over the shop. As you can see, investment made into new screw gun. Makes life a whole lot easier. Rather than fumbling around looking for the screws or keep trying to keep them in your pocket and getting stabbed by the sharp ends. Having to use the longer screws in these rooms. Obviously we're going through the 25mm of insulation as well as the plasterboard, so we're using the longer ones. Downstairs where we don't have to double up on the insulation, we get away with just using the 25mm. As you can tell, plasterboard lift makes it a lot easier as well. We've sort of learned from other stuff that we've done beforehand. And then once a couple of screws are on the outside of the board, pencil line across, gives us something to follow so we can get the rest of the screws straight into the joists. And then the handheld screwdriver just to get the heads firmly buried into the plasterboard. So as you saw on the previous video, all of the plasterboard's downstairs. So I think we had about 80 sheets or so. And of course this means that all has to be man-handled upstairs. So we'd left a gap in between the floor joists or in the floor for things like this. This was where all the insulation came up, and this is where all the plasterboard's coming up. So normally a few sheets at a time and then lifted through. I said we'd left a hole in the floor. I didn't say it was the right size, but anyway. And of course the discussion that's always needed with regards to these things, making sure we've got the board on the lift the right way around for where we're putting the next piece. So at this point we're also having to put the hole through the plasterboard for the cables to come through for the central light fitting. Just a bit of measuring and a hole drilled straight through. Most of the time spent manoeuvring the plasterboard lift to get it just in the right place before it goes up. I think the actual placing of or screwing in of the plasterboard is the easy bit. It's all the bit beforehand, getting the plasterboard there and manhandle it into place. You may have noticed our deliberate mistake here, which is the fact that the plasterboard is not staggered. We did end up having to correct this after the event. and for the forthcoming rooms we did get it correct. So once again, lines get drawn on the plasterboard and then it's screwed into place. More plasterboard up from downstairs. I think this piece we actually cut downstairs just to make it a bit easier to bring up, rather than transferring up full sheets and then cutting them upstairs. And as you can tell, still oblivious to our mistake that we're already making, and happily stacking one board and then the next and the next without staggering the joints. And then sometime later, when we'd realised our mistakes, the last board goes into place for this room. Still the walls to do, but for this week at the bungalow, I thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.